Hi. So, as some may know, we had some pretty strong weather roll through last night in the great old state of Kansas. And the power went off last night. Now, I guess it must have been wide sweeping. Unfortunately, I personally have not been able to watch the weather, and I have tried everything I can think of. I've looked up local weather sites. I've looked up a couple of different weather sites to see if I can find out any information as to what rolled through here last night. I can tell you exactly what I heard, though, and what I saw. When I heard the storm roll through, I was back in my bedroom and I heard the sound of rain coming down, of course, but also sounded like possible hail. And then it was just like, okay, rain, hail. Then the wind kind of just like went into overload. So we don't know what happened. We don't know what rolled through, but when I looked outside the door, you could not see shit for all the rain and stuff that was coming through. I just said, well, guess I better go to bed. Because, like, literally all the lights went out. Fans went out. So I'm just kind of like, okay, nothing else to do but go to sleep. Because it's dark and ain't nothing playing. So today I wake up and usually, overnight, somehow they get the lights back on and working. Well, that didn't happen. I got ready for work in the dark. And as does happen, as I'm heading out the door to go to work, and I can't cuss or fuss because everybody has to make a living, people making calls come through. Hey, do you have Medicare Part A or Part B? Or, hey, this is the healthcare marketplace. We're calling about this program. And I'm just like, look, I am trying to get to work. I'm going to be late. Well, unfortunately, and like I said, I know I personally work in a call center myself. But it's like when I say I gotta go to work, need to get out the door now. It's like, please respect that. It wasn't respected. So I'm just like, yay. I was late to work this morning. But the electricity has been off most of the day. And they anticipated that it would probably stay off until tomorrow at best. Now, I'm not sure, that may have changed because I see that the street lights have just came on, I should say. The street lights just came on as I'm making this video, so hopefully the electric's back up. It's not a big issue, but it's kind of like in a society where we use smartphones and smart media and just every little thing to stay into contact, it's like, what do you do? Now, for some of you, you may have heard that there were a couple tornadoes that rolled through the towns of Grinnell, and there's another town that went through, oh gosh, I heard it briefly on the radio. I think it starts with a P, but I'm not certain. Both in Kansas, not really that far from where I am at. And unfortunately, those communities were hit, and they were hit hard. Here in this little town where I live, luckily here at the house, the recycle bin just kind of tipped over in the middle of the night, and luckily no more roof tiles went MIA that I can see. In the meantime, though, several trees around town were literally snapped in half. There's a tree up by one of the churches. It's like, it looks solid until you look at the base and you can see it. That's just the whole thing's fallen over. Over by the dental office, same thing. Lots of trees down. The dental office was not able to open or do business today. So I just went and took my happy behind to work, which is in another city altogether, and made do with the day as I did. So I'm all right. Survived. Slept through the worst of it. It sounded like a giant bear rolling through here or something that growled. But yeah. I was like, well, I'll stay in my room. I live in a 1-story house. There is a shelter, but I've not been down in that shelter for quite some time. And I don't want to go down that shelter because it's creepy. But, if I can get an above ground shelter put in, hey, that'll work. But no going down into the ground because I don't want that thing to become my little grave. So anyway, I just thought I'd check in. Let's say it's Avalita from Kansas, and it does look like the electricity may have come back on. I have not turned on anything in the house just yet. But I can see some of my neighbors, they have theirs up and running now. So, have a great day, a great night, whatever it is where you are now. Or as the old song went, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Either 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. Who knows? So, take it easy and stay safe. I don't want to make any accusations as to why it took so long for the power to come back on. I was told by the city that many of the power poles were down. So that's legit. But when it comes to failure of tornado sirens going off or failure for weather radios to receive signal, that's something else altogether. And we all know that. Especially here in the Midwest, they don't take the weather for light at any time. They don't. Anytime wonky weather even gets a foot near the state, they start tracking that stuff. So for the failure of weather sirens to go off, failure of weather radios to go off and notify people, especially at night. Okay, I'm like I said, I can't make any accusations on anything. I just say extrapolate what you will and go with that. Anyway, stay safe. Everything will be as it's supposed to be. And what is happening now has happened once before, only in a different shade of gray.